Thank you, Madam Speaker. I appreciate my friend from Baltimore City, but I don't appreciate being yelled at. I don't appreciate being told that we don't laugh all you want, but if I did it to you, you wouldn't like it much. Understand what you're doing here. Understand what you're doing here. Is there anything, do you pay enough attention to understand that there is nothing in the Medicaid amendments we offered, nothing that takes away Medicaid from an 85-year-old woman who's on Medicare, by the way? I don't know. I don't know if we know how things work here in Maryland. They seem to know how they work in Virginia. They seem to know how they work in Pennsylvania and Delaware and West Virginia, but we can't get it done here in Maryland. We're the smartest state. We're the best state. We're the greatest state. We're the only state in our damn region that has a multi-billion-dollar budget deficit and needs to raise billions of dollars in taxes to do the same stuff that they can do in Richmond. They have black and brown people in Richmond. I lived there. You're from there. They have them there. They're not getting up in the halls of Richmond and saying, we got to do this for them. They have black and brown people in West Virginia, in Delaware, in Pennsylvania. They're not saying we got to do this here. You know why we got to do this here in Maryland? Because we're a poorly run state. And I don't blame all of you. We're all complicit in it. The man upstairs has only been there for 2-3 years. I don't blame him for our economic failures of the last 10. We're all complicit in it. Don't tell me that we don't have enough money to put air conditioning and heating in Baltimore City schools. We spent $63 billion 2 years ago. We couldn't have put a couple million of that into a school system? Sure, we could have. But we chose to take it and give it to somebody else. We chose to take it and give it to somebody else. Do I think the blueprint is great? I don't know. I think there's some parts of it that are good. There's some parts we can work on. But my sweet Jesus, we spend more money per pupil than most places in the United States. And where are our test scores? Where are our test scores? Anybody know? They ain't that good. They ain't that good. Let's quit fooling ourselves that we pay more money and we've got the best schools in the country, because we don't. And you took out some of the private schools, some of the Gilmans, some of the Georgetown Preps, some of those places. You take some of those schools, some of the DeMathas, you take some of those schools, and what they do with private dollars out of our scores and our straight public school scores go terribly. That's a sin. I got to send my son to middle school and high school in a couple of years, and I'm terrified because the public schools where I live, far away from Baltimore City, it's not a Baltimore City problem. The public schools where I live, the academic performance has steadily stagnated or gone down. I have to make those decisions. Stop saying that the Medicaid cuts that we offered applied to 85-year-old women or poor people. The Medicaid cuts we offered, unless that individual you discussed was getting gender-affirming care or was an undocumented immigrant or was making $100,000 a year and providing for her children, that's all we cut. That's it. Not poor people. Not people getting base levels of care. We didn't eliminate the blueprint in our proposal. We said, take a pause. Because guess what, folks? You don't have the money. You don't have the money. You didn't have the money 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and you came in this year and you went, whoopsie. We don't have the money. And what's our solution? I don't know. I guess our solution is raise all the taxes. And we heard, well, the taxes are only going to go up on 6% of people. Do only 6% of Marylanders buy a car every year? Used car, new car, doesn't matter what kind of car you buy, you're going to be paying more taxes this year. Do only 6% of Marylanders buy something from a vending machine? I don't know. That's going to be going up too. Do only 6% of Marylanders and Maryland businesses purchase tech services? I want you to look. I don't know. I don't know if some of you actually look and read. It's right here for you. It's a sheet that the very good staff of the Ways and Means Committee, the Appropriations Committee, the Department of Legislative Services provide. You're all intelligent people. I'm proud to serve with all 140 of you. You're all certainly smart enough to read the sheet. What is the single biggest source of taxes that you're raising? It ain't on the rich people. It's $500 million this year, expected to go to $650 million on a tech tax that applies to everybody and every business. It's not limited to the millionaires. Your constituents are going to pay it too. Your small businesses are going to pay it. You're not here taxing the rich to give to the poor. That is a fallacy. That is a dream. That's how you guys want to view yourself. That's how you want to put it on Twitter. I wouldn't know how to put a Twitter tweet, whatever the hell out it is. You put a gun to my head, I wouldn't know how to tweet. But everybody likes to tweet here. Everybody likes it. Because we're starting to think that we're Washington, D.C., and we're not. because we can't print our own money. We have to take it from somebody else, and we're taking it. I want our schools to be better. Republicans want poor people and lower middle class people and struggling people to have health care. We do. We want our state to be better. But I will tell you this, if you can find me a state in the history, the modern history of the United States of America, that's run the way that the state of Maryland is, that's doing well, you let me know. You let me know. We can follow California right off the edge of the cliff. We don't have Silicon Valley. We don't have Hollywood. We're not the world's 5th largest economy. We're not even the 5th largest economy on the East Coast, for God's sakes. Stop pretending that we can do these things in a vacuum and they don't have an impact. Because I tell you what, they're not doing them in Virginia. They're not. Virginia is based around Washington, D.C. too, at least a large part of it. They don't seem to be having these problems. Virginia has a need to have good schools. Newsflash, look it up on your phones while we're sitting here. Virginia schools are ranked in the same range as what ours are. A little bit better, a little bit worse, different things. They don't have a blueprint in Virginia. Shocking. They don't have a blueprint in Virginia. They didn't have a man named Dr. Kerwin who came with the aid of a variety of people and special interest groups and said, the only way we're going to have good schools is if we spend more money than has ever been spent in the history of money. That's the only way we're going to do it. Didn't do it in Virginia, didn't do it in Delaware, didn't do it in Pennsylvania. We got to do it here. Why? I don't know. I think everybody here is controlled by the people who sit on the lawyer's mall handing you those flyers. They're controlled by this very small group of people. The squeakiest wheel gets the grease, and in the state of Maryland, the loudest advocacy groups in a supermajority party get the juice. And they got the juice. But that's not the average Marylander. You're raising more taxes than anyone who's ever sat in this room and raised. I want you to think about that. You're raising more taxes than anyone who has ever sat in this room has raised. And you're doing it because you cannot restrain the rate of growth in some programs that you promised people years ago that you couldn't pay for. And if it doesn't work, if next year we're back here in 9 months and gee whizzikers, those revenues didn't go through the roof, those costs sure went up, I guess we got to do it again. And eventually you go to the well one time too many and you break it. And that's where we're at. Please, please. I respect all of you. I know and I believe that in your hearts you want to do things in the best interests of the state. Please don't suggest that we don't. Please just understand that we have a fundamental philosophical difference about the role of government. And I think that the man upstairs on the second floor shares some of it because he's acknowledged over and over and over again, Maryland has become a state too much that's of the government, by the government, and for the government. And without a strong private sector, we will fail. And this is another step in that direction. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Good gentleman from Butler.